Hello, welcome to Moon Mama Musings YouTube Astrology spinoff. If you're just finding me, welcome to the circuit, as I like to call it. Normally I'm over on Instagram doing lives following the transits of the moon, but I've decided to try something different and be my greatest fool energy and pop over here on YouTube for astrology sneaky peeks, for little peepholes into what's going on in the heavens. So this is my very first one, apart from the video that I posted prior to this, which was due to a fuck up on Instagram, but hope this one is actually intentional. So we are starting off. I'm here to talk to you about the 3rd of June 2021. The moon is in Pisces, and it is the waning crescent. And the sun is currently in the sign of Gemini. So we are roughly, yesterday was the last quarter moon, so we're at our halfway point between our new moon and our full moon on crack. The full moon on crack was our everything in the kitchen sink moon, as I like to call it, the full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius from the 26th of May, 2021. Also the blood moon or the flower moon or whatever you want to call it moon, it was everything moon. Massive karmic cycle culmination kind of vibes. And then we have our new moon in Gemini coming up on the 10th of June 2021. This is going to be a solar eclipse, and the previous moon was a lunar eclipse. So the energy has been intense. I'm drinking coffee. It is coffee, iced coffee, my friends. It's not wine. I am in Thailand and it's very hot, so my little iced coffee gets warm very quickly. Okay, so what kind of planetary alignments are we talking about today on the 3rd of June 2021? So we've got a couple of things. We're going to primarily focus on the things that the moon are doing, and then there's a little bit of Mars action. So first and foremost, we have the moon in the sign of Pisces in conjunction with Neptune, which is in the sign of Pisces. Now, Neptune is a planet that rules the sign of Pisces. They are one and the same. So when a planet is in the sign that it's most comfortable in, it expresses its traits to the best of its abilities. It is the most beautifully authentic it can be. Neptune is the planet of dreams, intuitions. It can be confusing and a little bit sort of flighty energy. I like to, Neptune is like Phoebe Buffet for me. A little bit of a flower child, a little bit flighty. But you know what? Has its time and its place where it's super, super useful. Anyway, the moon is in conjunction with our Neptune in its ruling sign, or in its home sign. And conjunction is basically they're one on top of the other, and it's like the invasion of the body snatchers. So Neptune is sort of taking over the moon, or if you'd rather see it in terms of the moon is putting on its Neptune mask. So our moon is all about our subconscious, about our emotions, about what's kind of below the surface within us. And Neptune is a very sort of congruent kind of an energy. So your subconscious is sort of putting on its Neptune dreamy, intuitive mask right now. So you may be feeling a lot more intuitive than usual. You might be having a really strong gut feelings in the coming days or the days surrounding this particular conjunction. Your dreams might be really on point or super vivid. You might be experiencing a lot of synchronicity, seeing repeating numbers, thinking about something and seeing it plastered on a bus as it drives past, or thinking of a person and they phone you 5 minutes later. And it's all these things about sort of the subconscious, the inner knowing, the gut feelings that we have. Your gut feelings are going to be affirmed a lot in the coming days. And if you are one who likes to manifest, if you are all about the law of attraction or anything like that, this is a great energy to do it under, all right? So put on your manifesting hat and ask the universe for what it is you want. Do your rituals as you do them to manifest the things that you are working towards. The moon is also making a square with Mercury in the sign of Gemini. Now, Mercury is currently in retrograde. And a lot of people get afraid of retrograde energy, but I actually recently had it pointed out to me that it's not that retrograde doesn't mean that the planet is broken. It doesn't mean it doesn't work at all. It just means that it's not expressing itself in a way that it's used to expressing itself. It's not being its habitual self. And sometimes it can be kind of pretending to be something it's not, but sometimes it helps the planet look at things in a different way. And in fact, I think that this Mercury retrograde is a little bit interesting because it's Mercury retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which is its home sign. It's like retrograde kind of makes the planet play a part of whatever sign it's in, right? But because Mercury is kind of in one of its home signs, it's like it's playing the part of itself. It's almost like Mercury is like, it's like it's reflecting back on the way that it itself is and trying to see if it's congruent with what it actually wants to be. You know, it's like the as above, so below kind of deal. Like what's inside is what's without. So I feel like this Mercury retrograde in general, sorry, this is an aside to what's actually happening now. The Mercury retrograde in general is about looking at things differently. It's about seeing old things from our past or from that are ingrained in us, ideas that we have, sort of like the way we see things or the institutions in our mind about the structures and the norms and what's expected and what you expect of yourself. We're going to be looking at all those things differently now. It's about seeing those things that are tried and true from a new light. So the moon is squaring Mercury retrograde, which is like, this is a square is a very restrictive energy. So our subconscious is going to be feeling Mercury retrograde vibes these days. The scary stuff that people talk about Mercury retrograde, our subconscious is sort of going to be going through that kind of deal. Expect to experience technology issues. Expect to have canceled or falling through plans, or maybe you realize you've double booked yourself. You can be experiencing delays. You might be waiting after people. Your meetings might not happen on time. If you're traveling, give yourself some leeway. Plan in a few hours on either end of your trip to make sure that you have time for mishaps. Unexpected things can happen. Miscommunications especially, and I feel like this has a lot to do with, we've had a lot of subconscious pushes lately. Like I said, our intuition is really strong. So if you've been having subconscious pushes to stuff, it's going to be sort of in the realm of communication and the way we interact with other people and the sort of like intellect and the truths of things, all right? Ideas. Anything that's Mercurian energy, anything that is Gemini energy, like communication is a lot to do with it, all right? So we might be experiencing a lot of miscommunication. It's measure 16 times and cut once. Make sure that whatever you are doing in Mercury retrograde energy and any aspects that deal with Mercury while it's in retrograde, make sure that you're considering and taking time to contemplate and weigh all of the factors, look in every dark corner, and leave no stone unturned. Make sure that you're really, really very aware of all, like the greater picture of things before you make decisions, if you have to make decisions during Mercury retrograde. And if you can, try and wait till it's over. Mercury retrograde is over on the 22nd of June, 2021. Sorry, 26th of June, 2021. But its shadow will carry through until the 7th of July. So the 8th of July is going to be the real first day of escaping this retrograde energy. All right, we also have the moon making a trine with Mars in the sign of Cancer. Mars is the warrior, and it's not super comfortable in the nurturing sign of Cancer. Cancer is the sign of home. It's about stability. It's about things that are strong and long-lasting and structured, yeah? Mars being the warrior, like the warrior energy is rushing forth, going towards something, working towards something. That's not, in its root is a dynamic energy. And Cancer is a little bit more of a, I don't want to say stagnant, but I want to say static energy. Things that we deal with in Cancer are usually more about what we want for the long term and how we see the roots and the foundations of who we are and what we deal with. So Mars when it's in Cancer, it's the warrior energy about things that don't want to be moved that well. It's not as bad as Taurus. Taurus is the immovable force, right? But Cancer is still energy. When anything that is about home and stability is about things that are long lasting, and that is not very dynamic energy. It's far more fixed than sort of the very flexible idea of Mars. So when the moon is in a trine with Mars, we might be feeling gut feelings that are going to try and spur us to take action, okay? When it comes to things that are fourth house related, stability, home, relationships, family, all of that kind of stuff. you're going to have gut feelings, and it's going to spur action. It's going to spur the desire for action. It's going to make you think about, how do I usually move towards my goals when it comes to long-lasting things? And you're going to realize that your gut has a lot to do with it. I feel like this is a little bit about revelations. It's about thoughts. It's about the feelings inside of us kind of bubbling up and making realizations about what's true and what's not, what's around, what's happening, what we're dealing with. So our emotional being, our subconscious, all of those things that might not be so palpable to us when you think about, like, the more of the heart-centered things versus the head-centered stuff. It's gonna have some spontaneous movement. All right. It could mean action. It doesn't necessarily have to mean action, but it could be very much you reflecting about the way that you act in your home. It could be maybe thinking about sort of, I'm getting a vibe of like thinking about your triggers when it comes to your partner, for example, like how the cap off the toothpaste drives you crazy, but it's not really about the cap off the toothpaste, right? It's about something else. Or even about like how you know that there's a certain way that you want your household to run, and it drives you crazy when it's not to that standard, and you realize that it's because you were brought up in a certain way that showed you didn't want to live that way, and you're trying to rewrite the ideas. Anyway, these are just examples off the top of my head. It doesn't have to mean that for you, but I'm just like giving you some examples. Like I said, like action with regards to your fourth house is you're going to be feeling it out a little bit. All right. Okay, the moon is also making a sextile with our beautiful Pluto, which is also retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. Pluto is the death card. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, the planet of transformation. And in the sign of Capricorn, being in the sign of Capricorn, it's death and rebirth. It's all about our responsibilities, our ambitions, our dedication, our traditions, things like that. So your subconscious right now is really working on integrating aspects of this change that you're going through while Pluto is in retrograde. It's going on. It's good. This is like about a 5-month kind of deal. We've got a retrograde season is going to be going into October time, if I'm not mistaken. Or the energy itself is like, the retrogrades itself might be over before then, but the energy of the retrogrades is going to carry through. I feel like October is going to be kind of a sweet spot where things are really kind of coming to the ends of all of this tumultuous energy we're going to experience in the next few months with retrogrades. Retrogrades stir things up. Eclipses as well. We've got loads of eclipses as well. Retrogrades, you're going to be looking at Europlast, and eclipses are going to just bam, like it's supercharging energy. Anyway, this moon's sextiling Pluto is all about, we're going to be coping. We're coping with this new stuff. We're coping with this new way of being. We've been transforming. We're like in the space between two doors where you've closed one door about the things that you don't want to move forward with, that don't fit you for moving forward to this new idea of what you want in your life. And you're approaching the door that's going to take you to that new life of yours. But in this space between, you're taking some time to reflect, and it's like when you jump into cold water and it takes you a few minutes to just adapt to the temperature in your body to stop kind of freaking out, right? We're getting used to it. And this particular moon trining Pluto is, you might not be aware of it, that it is a coping mechanism, but you're going to be coping with all this new change right now. All right. Okay, that's all the moon stuff. Now, Mars in Cancer is also going to be making a sextile with Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Taurus. Black Moon Lilith is a really interesting planetary body. It's all about where we feel shame. It's all about what we hide under the surface. It's about things like it's about stuff that maybe we were ridiculed about in the past, or stuff that we were made to feel shame about. And I'm being called to bring up the difference between, there's a very big difference, and people mistake it a lot. And this is a Brene Brown kind of thing. If you've never read anything by Brene Brown, I fully encourage you to go and find her. She's fantastic. Her TED Talk, revolutionary. It's about the difference between shame and guilt is we do experience these, we mix them up a lot. Guilt is about I've done something bad, and shame is about I am bad. So this is not about like, oh, I feel bad because I stood up my friend for dinner. This is about I think that I'm a shitty person. I am a shitty person because I stood my friend up for dinner. So Black Moon Lilith is more than just about the things that are kind of like uncomfortable for us. This is about like our deep-rooted personality, things ingrained in our being, the stuff that is like, it's our Achilles heels in a way. And when it's Black Moon Lilith is in the sign of Taurus, this is all about our values. This is an immovable force. These are things that we think about as part of us that are completely so ingrained in our personality, we could never change them. So whatever it is that you feel about yourself that is just like, you're like, well, it's just who I am. First of all, excuses, my dears. Whatever you think that those things are, they're going to be challenged right now. How do you what do those things make you do? Moon or the Mars in Cancer, we just talked about that, is going to be sextile with Black Moon Lilith and Taurus. These are Cancer and Taurus are very similar energies, but it's like Cancer is the nurturing side of Taurus. It's like Taurus is the like, nope, that's what I am, and Cancer is kind of like the okay, but it's there's surely more to that, yeah. So how do we deal with things in our home, in our stability, in our institution, about the things that we expect from our life? How do we deal with all that stuff, and where does it reflect back to the things that we think are just part of us, that we make excuses for, that are really actually just kind of they're I'm getting it's a lot of defense mechanism stuff. It's you feel unworthy for some reason or another, and the way that manifests in you is going to be challenged with regards to how you act in your home, whatever that means for you. How do you work towards stability? And what is it that's holding you back towards getting that stability that you want with regards to these things that what excuses are you making that's holding you back from getting your stability? Yeah. All right. So it's all about, I've got notes here. It says, we're taking a look at the fine details with the repressed emotions with regards to what we hold dear as well, and how that affects the way we take actions toward our stability. It's going to be a really healing energy. I'm feeling a sextile is often a really nice healing energy. So I am getting that this is going to be positive. It might be uncomfortable though. Yeah. All right. So that's about it for the astrology, but I'm going to keep things consistent over on Instagram, and check me out there if you want. Moon Mama Musings on the Instagram. I come live every moon cycle to discuss what to expect from it, pulling cards, talking advice, all that kind of stuff. And I give a little astro update as well. But I always pull from the Starseed Oracle deck to start the reading to kind of get an idea about what the energy is around us. I've pre-shuffled this deck, and I want to ask, what does the collective need to know about what is our journey happening today on the 3rd of June, 2021? What do we need to know? What clarity do we need to know about our journey? There we go. We have lifting the veil. Question everything. Everything unaligned must go. So again, this is all about this is affirmation, sort of what I was saying about this Cancer and this Taurian energy. It's a lot about the moon in Cancer is the focus of this one, is they're really saying, get real about this. Like, what is it that you are trying to avoid? Where does your shame lie? Where do you feel vulnerable when it comes to your home and the way you act towards getting that stability that you want? You want the stability. That's what you've been striving for a long time, is you want stability. You want the dream come true. You want the castle with the Prince Charming or the Princess Charming or whatever it may be, you know, like you have an idea in your mind about what is perfect for you and what will fit into your future and what will make you most happy and what will give you the most fulfillment and what will help you help other people too. And now we're sort of filtering through the last little details to figure out how we avoid going back to the cycles of the past where we may have sabotaged ourselves, where we may have let our wounds from prior scenarios or our childhood or whatever it may be for you affect the way that we deal with the things that we want. We know that we've been holding ourselves back when it comes to that, I'm getting. And now it's time to get real and lift that veil off our eyes, take off the smoke screens, take off the rose-colored glasses, whatever it is today we are trying to get down to the bottom of some of the things that have been holding us back. All right, well, that's it. That is the astrology for the 3rd of June, 2021. This was Moon Mama Musings. I'm Katie O. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you again in the near future. I'm sorry for anything you're going through or if I've made you feel a certain way. Thank you so much for lending your energy to the circuit, for being a lovely human. I love you to the moon and the stars and infinity and beyond. And I accept this, and I hope you do too. But if not, that's cool. Catch you next time. Bye.